Hello you guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm very excited for today's video. It is going to be my mid-year update on all of the pans throughout my makeup collection. The only thing that I won't be sharing with you today is eyeshadow pans. I am not as heavily focused on panning eyeshadow, so if I have quite a few eyeshadow pans in my collection at the end of the year, then I will do a video on that at that time. But I have been filming every pan in my makeup collection every 6 months since I believe the end of 2021. So been tracking for quite some time, and I'm really excited to share all the products that still have a pan. Some of them have expanded pans. I think only one new product with a pan in it, actually maybe two. I'm really excited to talk to you about all of the pans in my makeup collection, so if you're interested in seeing what has a pan, stay tuned. First, if you have yet to subscribe to my channel and you like project panning content, palette themed content, or just chit chatting about makeup, that is what we do over on this channel, so I hope you'll consider subscribing before moving on. Also, don't forget to like this video and leave a comment down below, or do anything else the YouTube algorithm loves for you to do. I would really appreciate it, and without further ado, let's get into all of the pans in my makeup collection. I will have a bunch of information in the description box down below, but last time I updated this at the end of 2024 / beginning of 2025, I had 21 products with a pan in my makeup collection, and I will say I also currently have 21 makeup products with a pan in my collection. Some of them, I think I ended up finishing up 1 or 2 products that had a pan, and I have 2 new pans to share. I will also say some of these products are going to be decluttered during my next year-end makeup declutter. So I will be kind of curious to see where we are at in terms of pans in my makeup collection at the end of the year. In years past, I have gone in order of the products that have had a pan the longest, but I thought it would be fun today to split it up by category, because as I was pulling out all of these products, I was realizing I have a ton of bronzer, like a ton of bronzer. 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 out of the 21 products with a pan are bronzing products, which I just think is so interesting. I have 5 face palettes, 1 lip product, and then 4 highlights and a blush. I will say I do love to pan makeup. This year I've stepped away from panning as aggressively, but I still love that excitement, the fluttering that you get in your heart when you hit a new pan because you've loved a makeup product so much that you've used it enough to hit a pan. It's always really exciting. So having 21 pans in my collection honestly is a feat that I'm very proud of. Like I said, some of these products will be getting decluttered. I'll be very curious. I would love to keep my pans in my collection at 15 or above. But as I was looking through my collection, I was like, is there really anything else that I'm kind of close to hitting a pan on? I honestly don't necessarily think there's a lot more pans coming in 2025. But I'm gonna stop rambling. Let's get into all of my makeup products with a pan. Last housekeeping thing before we jump into it is for products that I have picked, previous pictures, it's not a new pan, so I have pictures from the last time I updated. I will share the first picture of when the product had a pan and I shared it. I will share the last update. Some of these are from the last update, but if there's 3 pictures, those are the 3, and then I'll share the now picture. If they just got a pan last update, then it'll just be 2 pictures, and if it's a first time pan, there won't be comparison pictures. Did I just make any sense at all? Because I feel like I did not. Anyway, okay, well, let's start with bronzers since I have the most in the bronzer category. We can start with my Huda Beauty Tan Tour. I feel like this has had a pan for quite a while at this point in time. This is one of the older products in my collection. It still has literally no scent to it, but I feel like I've had this product since 2021. I could reference my makeup inventory and look for sure. But maybe it was it 2021 or 2022 that I had a pan of this? Anyway, it's been a while. It has been a while. I have recently pulled this back out and been using it. It is going in my These Products Will Self-Destruct project. And I have, I believe, a 30 use goal on this year. I think I've only used it 6 or so times thus far, but I feel like the pan is getting thinner over on this side. I still don't necessarily think this is possible for me to ever finish up. Just I'm not contouring that much, and this is a very pigmented product. So I used to put it all over my forehead, where I would use my bronzer, but it's just not the way that I'm using this product anymore. We'll see. It's not a product that I want to declutter at this moment, but it is getting very, very old. So I feel like it could honestly turn on me at any moment. regardless, I'm happy that I've used it enough to have a pan on it at bare minimum. And that's my update there. This is another one that's pretty old in my collection, and I feel like I've had a pan on this for quite a while, and since hitting pan, I honestly don't feel like I've reached for this that much. I will be really curious to see like first pan picture, last update, and now, because I really don't feel like I've reached for this even one time this year. I actually did end up rolling this into my These Products Will Self-Destruct project because I honestly just don't know if this is something worth keeping in my makeup collection anymore. So this is something that would potentially be getting decluttered at my next declutter, but I would also like to use up this whole pan of bronzer, and I want to use the highlight again to see if it's a highlight that I want to keep in my collection. Like, do I love it? And I just don't know. I don't know, only time will tell. Let me jump into the two bronzers that are going to, oh, that's not even a bronzer. Okay, I thought I knew where my NARS, oh, that's interesting, the packaging's broken. I thought I knew where my NARS Sun Wash bronzer is. It's possible that I actually just threw that away because the quality on that was really not good. So I actually don't have that one to share with you, but I do think I'm going to be decluttering my Marc Jacobs Tantastic bronzer at the end of the year. I can't remember if I decluttered this and have recluttered it, or if I was still keeping this around just to kind of see if I could finish it up. I think the issue I've had with being able to declutter this is, one, this used to be my favorite bronzer in my collection. I literally remember the moment I purchased this, and because it's such a large bronzer pan, and then the pan in the pan is so large, I mean, I've clearly devoted a lot of time to using this product. There's the panner's mentality in me that just wants to finish this up to completion, but I just don't enjoy using this anymore. I feel like the quality is definitely declining because it's something that starts to kind of wear away kind of patchily throughout the day. I don't know that I've reached for this more than like 2 times this year. I'll be really curious to see picture from the beginning, last update, and now, but this is something I don't plan to keep or don't plan to bring with me into 2026. Next up, I have my Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush bronzer. I'm really curious to look at the pictures on this one. I have been reaching for this a bit lately, but I honestly have no concept. I almost said no conceptualization. I have no concept of if I feel like this pan has expanded at all since the last time I updated you on this. This also used to be a favorite bronzer in my collection. I definitely really enjoy a couple other bronzers a little bit more than this one at the moment. However, I do still think this is a beautiful bronzer and one that I do like to reach for in the summer. So I'm hoping to reach for this quite a bit more this summer and expand the pan further. I don't by any means think I'll finish this year, but I would love to like seriously expand the pan by the time I'm updating you at the end of the year. Then I have my Makeup by Mario Soft Sculpt Transforming Skin Enhancer. I feel like the pan on this one is not going to be expanded much at all. I was reaching for this a little bit at the beginning of the year, but not a ton. And I just feel like this has gotten to be a product that is a bit neglected. It is the lighter, not the lightest, it's light medium. It's lighter on me, and it's something that is, actually I probably would really like this right now. It's more of like a sheer wash of color rather than being like a pigmented bronzer. It really is more of like a skin enhancer, as the name would suggest, rather than being this ultra pigmented cream bronzer. I want to whip this back out. I am hoping before the end of the year I can expand the pan more on this. I do really love this product, and it's honestly just been a little bit since I've reached for this one. Okay, a bronzer that I swear I think I've been updating you on since 2021, but I swear the pan has literally not expanded at all, although I do reach for this quite a bit, especially in the colder months. This is my Fenty Beauty Sunstalker bronzer in Into Sun. I feel like this is by far the oldest product in the collection of actually maybe not, some of my face palettes might be older, but this is so old, and I've reached for this bronzer, and I have reached for this bronzer, and I swear the makeup gremlins visit my makeup drawer every night and just fill this with a little bit more bronzer, and I never make any progress with this. Never, ever, ever. So I honestly don't know if I will ever finish this bronzer. I really do love this, especially when I'm at my fairest, but it just doesn't seem to go anywhere. Next up, I have the Give Beauty Pick It Up Cream and Contour Bronzer Duo. I did have a bronzer pan, or I had a pan here at the beginning of the year / end of the year, but I was using this actually more than I should have been in January, because I'm like, this was definitely too dark for me in January. So I really don't know how I was getting use out of it, but I will be curious to see if this pan has expanded at all. My goal this year is to completely finish off this bronzer. Summer is the perfect time for me to be reaching for this because it is a little bit darker. So it definitely matches me best when I am self-tan. I am hoping though, by the time that this pan is empty, that I'll have a pan on the contour. I feel like this contour is a little bit more approachable than the Huda Beauty Tantour because it is like a lighter cream, a little bit more sheer and just a little bit easier to work with. It's just not quite as harsh. So goal is to have a pan in the contour by the next time I update this, and hopefully we can have the whole pan down here showing. A bronzer that I'm hoping I am not updating again in this, because I hope it will be an empty, is my Knobless Skin Bronzing in the shade Ambra. I have definitely repressed this twice since the last time that you guys saw this. I actually would be really curious to see what the picture looked like last time I updated this. Like, I'm so curious, but I just have a little bit of product in the center here. This is the bronzer that I'm wearing today. I am just trying to use this just about every single day so that I can just finish this up and have a bronzer empty and just be done with this one, and then focus on rotating through all of my other bronzers. But I have been trying to finish up this bronzer for several years at this point in time. I love this bronzer, so it has been like a joy to work on. However, the longest, well, I suppose the Fenty Beauty has honestly taken even longer, but this has taken for freaking ever to get through. This is something I'm not going to instantly go out and repurchase, but I definitely could see myself purchasing it again, or missing it and purchasing it again in the future. I am just hoping that that will be an empty here in a couple of months. And then the final bronzer empty that I have to share is the newest pan to my collection, and I'm very excited about this one. It is my Chanel Le Beige Healthy Glow Bronzing Cream. And I recently hit a pan in this, and I'm so happy about it because obviously this is a more expensive product. You do get a lot of actual product in here, but I have been working on this. I worked on this in another project pan. I don't know if it was last year or the year before that, but I feel like I've worked on this a ton. Now I will say I do kind of want to focus on my NARS bronzer this summer, just because the NARS is a little bit more pigmented, a little bit deeper. But perhaps towards the end of the summer, beginning of fall, when I am kind of losing my summer color, I'll come back to this. So I'm hoping that the pan is even more expanded by the next time I update this. But welcome to the pan family. Welcome. And I'm very excited about a new pan in the collection. Let's jump into the one blush that I have. And this, I believe, has been, or has had a pan since 2021. I always am afraid, like in the back of my mind, I feel like I have another bronzer, or not bronzer, another blush that has a pan, and I'm always worried that I'm gonna miss something in one of these videos. But I believe the only blush that has a pan currently is my Kosas Blush Duo. This is one of the powder blush duos. It's in the shade Papaya. I desperately wish they would reformulate these, or like just bring these back. I want Tropic Equinox, the cream blush and highlight duo, back in my life so freaking badly. I absolutely loved that duo. But anyway, I actually wore this the other day. This is an extremely powdery formula. I don't remember if it's always been so powdery or if it's just old, but I used this the other day and it was so beautiful, and I feel like this is so perfect for the summer. I love to mix the two of these together. I love to use this as a highlighter or like a blush topper when I'm going in with a nude blush. I just feel like it adds such a pretty glow to the cheek. By the way, there is the pan if you couldn't see it. But I love both of these together. I'd love to have a pan in this. However, I just don't think that we're even close to that. Anyway, I don't feel like the pan has expanded on the like blush topper side at all, but I do reach for this. Moving on to my single highlights. I have 4 highlighters with a pan. First up, I have my Vesca Beauty highlight in the shade Moonlight. This, from like the first pan that I shared to now, I feel like has grown quite a bit. I used this a ton last year. I think I had a 50 use goal with this last year, so pan has expanded a ton. I don't feel like I've reached for this much at all this year. I've definitely been reaching for pink highlights the majority of days, but I do want to pull this back out because this is my favorite champagne highlight in my entire collection. I've had this highlight for a long time. Vesca Beauty is unfortunately no longer a brand, but I love this highlight because If I have a highlight that's a little bit too dark for me, but I still want to use it, I feel like this is the perfect highlight to mix and neutralize highlights. I also just think this is a really beautiful kind of champagne golden sort of shade that's flattering on my skin tone, which I usually feel like just pinks match better. I absolutely love this. We'll see what we can do and see if we can expand this pan a little bit before the end of the year. Next up, I have my Bobbi Brown highlight in Pink Glow, and this is going to look very, very different from the last time I had pictures of this as well. This is what this looks like. This like cracked, broke, it kept falling out when I was trying to use this. So I actually ended up just repressing it, and now the two like colors, like the top of this used to be more pink and the bottom more icy or vice versa, and now it's all kind of just mixed together. I still think this is such a beautiful highlight. I do think the Dior highlight may have, the new Dior one in Pink Halo may have overthrown this one. However, I have been reaching for the Dior a lot and not this one a lot, so it could just be like I've been using that one a lot more. I want to kind of compare the two. I still think this is beautiful and it's still one of my top highlighters in my collection. I'd love to hit a pan in the center of this again. I do have a little bit of pan showing up here, but I did want to update you on that. I have repressed that finally. Then I have my Pixie by Petra Glowy Gossamer Duo. I have had a pan in the pink side of this for quite a while. Still no pan in this side. This is definitely a little bit more golden and a little bit deeper than I typically ever reach for in a highlight. I keep saying I want to reach for it on the body so that I can at least have a pan on both sides. I would love to hit a pan on this summer. In fact, should I add a little bit to the shoulders right now? We definitely could. Although I'm simmering in self-tan, so I probably shouldn't have done that. I'm probably gonna ruin. Can you even see that? Oh yeah, there we go. Should we do a little collarbone action too? Again, I probably should not be doing this because I have self-tanner all over me. Anyway, I feel like there's so many highlighters in my collection that I'm like, oh, I don't love this, but I can use it as an all over body highlight. And it's like, girl, we don't even remember to highlight our bodies, let alone are we using 18 highlighters on the body at one time? No. But I will say it would be nice to have a pan in both pans in this duo. I don't know that I've reached for, I feel like I've reached for the pink a couple of times this year, but I don't think enough to expand the pan at all. I actually am really curious to see the picture of when I first hit a pan on this versus now. Just, I don't remember what it looked like when I first hit a pan. Like, have we expanded any at all? It feels like the like crater here is like pretty deep, but I could be wrong. I could be wrong. I just feel like the pan is like a bit shallow and I feel like I could easily hit it. Okay, goal for this one, have a pan in both pans. All right, and then the final highlighter is one of the products I think I am most proud of, and I am really hopeful, fingers crossed, hoping but not sure, that I can have this as an empty before the end of the year. It's my Rose Ink Cream Highlighter in Opalescence. I am so excited to look at the pictures of this one. We have such a big pan going in this. I reach for this several times a week, at least 3 or 4 times a week, because this is in my overnight bag with me. I use this every single day pretty much as a highlight, whether it be on its own or underneath foundation. I think this is such a beautiful highlight. It is almost like I was gonna say like an opalescent. It's literally called opalescent. It is definitely an opalescent shade that just gives, because it has some pink to it, it almost just looks like glossy skin rather than being like, you can tell I'm wearing highlight, which obviously that's the goal, not to like have it look like I'm wearing highlight, but I just love the glow that it gives my skin. I feel like it's so natural. I wear this a ton when I'm not wearing foundation. Like I'll do a primer and then put this on top, and it just gives me this beautiful, healthy looking skin effect. I'm gonna be really sad when this is done. I'm not gonna, first of all, I don't know what is happening with Rose Ink. Like, are they still a brand? I haven't looked, but I don't believe you can get them. I'm almost positive you can't get them at Sephora anymore. So I don't think I'm gonna like go out and repurchase this, but I will absolutely miss this. I do have other pink cream and liquid highlights that I should work on after finishing this, but this is definitely a product that I'm gonna miss. And it's one of those products that when I started to use it consistently, I really did fall in love with it. Prior to that, I was like, this is a good product, but like, could take it or leave it. Now I know that I'm going to desperately be missing this in my collection. Talk about the one lip product next, simply because I do think this will be an empty, possibly by my next rolling project pan update, but this will absolutely be an empty, if not by July 1st, then for sure sometime in July. This will be an empty, so you won't see this again, but this is the Lawless Forget the Filler Overnight Lip Plumping Mask. I absolutely love this. I do have one of these for backup. The interesting thing about this product is that it is nourishing like a lip mask, but it does plump as well. It's the most bizarre thing ever, because you think like if it's plumping it's irritating, but I love this. I love this. This one is in Cherry Vanilla. I can't remember the other shade that I have. It's not Cherry Vanilla, but this has also taken me forever to get through. I use this almost every single day as a lip prep step, and I have been focused on this for the last at least 6 or 7 months. So we can wrap it up with the last 5 products, which are all face palettes. So my Smashbox Cali Contour. I do think I'm going to end up decluttering this by the end of the year. I did already have a pan in the pressed powder shade, but I do have the teeniest, tiniest pan now up in the bronzer. I was using this bronzer a ton earlier this year because I did want to hit a pan in it. I have come to realize that this product is getting old to the point where I feel like the quality is really starting to be affected, because again, it's one of those products that just feels more powdery than it used to, and it starts to wear away in just like a patchy, unflattering way throughout the day, and I don't get that with my other products. So this will be the last time you're seeing the Smashbox Cali Contour Kit. I'm excited that we were able to, even if it is the teeniest, tiniest of baby pans, I'm excited we were able to love it enough to add another pan to the palette before we declutter it. But unfortunately, we are gonna have to bid this a farewell. My Becca Après Ski palette, I had hit a pan in the bronzer which you saw last time, pretty recently, and I think I kind of stopped using it right after hitting the pan, or pretty close to it, just because I had been reaching for it a ton. This definitely is something that I don't feel like would work well for me in the winter, even though I think I was using it a lot last winter. I do feel like this is going to match me really well right now. So between this and my Give Beauty and hopefully finishing my Nabla, I feel like I'm going to have my hands full with bronzers. I am hoping that, first of all, this pan needs to be very expanded. Not the train. I would love to empty out this pan in its entirety by the next time I update you. So in the next 6 months, I do feel like the product is very, very thin in the pan. Typically when I bronze my forehead, I'm using a huge bronzing brush. So I feel like it really kind of takes up the entirety of this pan. And I honestly feel like even though the pan doesn't look that big in this pan, I feel like there's not a ton of product left because it is so thin. So it would be really cool to have this entire pan empty by the next time I update. And then one of my favorite highlights in my entire collection, Rose Quartz, is up here. I've actually panned a mini pan of Rose Quartz, and I would eventually like to hit a pan here and eventually use this up. I don't want to fully commit to saying my goal is to have a pan in this by the next update, simply because I'm having so much fun with highlight this year and rotating through my highlight collection, but it would be kind of cool to have a pan there. We'll see. I'm not going to put too much pressure on myself. Speaking of highlights, I do have a pan in every single highlight in my Lancome Dual Finish Highlighting Palette. This was released in 2019, and I am just so proud that all 3 pans have a pan. I honestly this summer would love to expand Sparkling Peach, because one, I think this is the Gilded Gold has the smallest, but gold is just not my favorite when it comes to highlighting. I do love a peach highlight, especially in the summertime, so I would love to expand Sparkling Peach. In fact, I should pull this out during my next Shop My Stash, which I plan to film today, and by the time that you see this video, my Shop My Stash will likely already be up because I plan to post this at anyway. Hopefully I've remembered to pull this in my Shop My Stash, and I would love to expand this. And I would love to reach for Frosted Rose a little bit more, just because I can see myself using this a lot when we get to the colder months. So hoping by the next update you'll see some expansion here. Then I have my Laura Geller Baked Gelato Swirl Illuminating Palette. I believe the first time we saw this in this video was last update, and I hit a pan on Peach Glow, which I was really excited about. I will say the pans in this palette are deeper than they appear, and I don't think I'm anywhere close to hitting a pan on either of these two. I am not gonna give myself too much pressure either way with this one. I don't think I'm yet ready to declutter this, although this is an extremely old palette in my collection. I don't think I'm yet ready to declutter. We'll see how I feel at the end of the year. I would like to pull this Maybe by the end of the summer. Just, I feel like ballerina, I feel like these two are not going to get used unless I pull it this summer. So I would like to pull this, get some use out of it, see how I feel about it right now, and see if it's something that I do want to keep around. Again, I have been having fun with highlight, so we'll see what happens with this palette. I'm not going to give myself any specific goals for the next update with that. All right, and the final product to talk to you about today is another face palette. It's a classic. We know I love NARS face palettes, so thank God that we have some pans in a NARS face palette, but this one has 3 pans in it, which honestly makes me so happy. Now, I will say the 3 pans are all in the highlights up top, and they are that kind of putty texture similar to like a ColourPop Super Shock. So if I were to like really smush around on these, I could probably smush the pans back into place. But this is something that I have been reaching for, this shadow, or this shade actually recently, and I've been using that on the arms. And I feel like this is something that I could use. I'm not going to do it right now because, again, simmering and self-tan, but I feel like I could use my e.l.f. airbrush blender and like really pick that up in the brush and like use it almost as like chest and neck body makeup. I feel like that could be really, really beautiful for the bronzed goddess patio drinking situations. I have a vision in my mind, so I'm going to try that. I really do hope that I can expand some of these pans a little bit more so that I have more to share with you at the end of this year, but really excited that we have a face palette that has multiple pans in it. We love to see it. And after that, you guys, that is going to wrap up and conclude this update in all of the pans in my makeup collection. I would love to know if you track the pans in your collection. I want you to count. I want you to leave me a comment down below and let me know how many pans you have. I want you to let me know what product you are most focused on in your collection that you want to hit pan on next. Let a girl know in the comments below. Other than that, thank you so much for sticking around to watch today's video and for supporting me and my channel as you guys always do. I love you guys so much, and I will catch you in my next video. Bye.